An eventful day. A story by male Insecurity. Today was an eventful day. I woke up and sat around a bit. I drank some coffee and had a few thoughts about the night before. I dined with a good friend of mine and went to a pretty cool slowcore concert. I had expected to have a slight beer headache when I woke up the next day, but no. I just had a couple of new memories that made me think life is quite alright. Anyway, I was also hungry, but didn't have any bread left. And sadly for me, I was also too lazy to walk to the grocery store. So I just decided to sit around some more and take another coffee. Then I realized I still had an apple, and thus proceeded to eat the apple. The sun was shining outside, and my hunger lingered on. The apple wasn't enough, so I decided to go to the grocery store and get myself some bread. Bread will do me good, as bread often does. I put on my scarf-like poncho, leather jacket, and some cargo pants I wore the other day before. And then I decided to put on my old shoes, which should probably get replaced, but I already feel bad enough for being so complicit, so I rather just wear them a little bit longer. Once outside, I felt a nice cold breeze touching my skin. I haven't yet done my skincare routine at this point, because I don't really have a skincare routine. I do practice skincare, but only when I feel like it. But this cold breeze was like a welcoming splash of fresh water, followed by some beauty products afterwards. At the grocery store, I walked into the sliding doors because they opened more slowly than usual. I thought this was rather funny, but nobody else seemed to laugh. Alone, I smirked and proceeded to get my bread. Once outside, I saw a couple of pigeons. I like pigeons, and I have trouble understanding why people call them flying rats. If they would read more about the history of the pigeon and the importance of their existence in regard to the benefit of our society, then people would treat them differently. Same with horses. I don't understand why people don't like horses. They look cool and have been tremendously important for our survival and the creation of our society. Anyway, I figured, hey, I just brought some bread. And pigeons like bread. But then a small child decided to run into the flock of pigeons, which made them fly away. Like the sun currently melting the snow underneath my feet, my dreams of feeding and petting the pigeons have been delayed once more. Suddenly, I remembered the first chapter of Old Path White Clouds, which is a book about the life of the Buddha. The first chapter is called Walking Just to Walk, and it prompted me to keep on walking, instead of going home. I took a familiar road unknown to me. It was a thrilling experience because it could lead me to nowhere. This unknown part of town could be the end of me. It could make me rich, or it could disable me in such a way that I might never walk again. Then I saw some ponies. One pony came running up to me, and I quickly considered my odds. The ponies were standing inside a field which was placed next to the gravel path that I was walking on. This gravel path was clearly meant for people that walk with dogs. Because this path is meant for people that walk with dogs, there's a reasonable chance that I would step into dog feces if I were to approach the pony. Like I said before, my shoes are rather old and even have some holes in them. It could be nasty business, but then again, I do enjoy petting an animal on its head, and it's not often that I see a pony. Eventually I figured, what the heck, and proceeded to walk towards the wired fence. The pony was staring right at me, and I decided to first let him smell my hand before I proceeded with any potential petting. Establishing trust is important, and I personally don't like it when people instantly start petting animals. Anyway, I stuck out my hand, and the pony was looking at it rather funny. At first it gave it a sniff, but then suddenly it tried to bite my hand. Being quite shaken by the situation unfolding, I took away my hand and tried it again, after saying something like, "Oh no, my friend, those hands are not for eating." I took a few steps back and went over the situation. As far as I know, ponies don't eat flesh. And I am partly made out of flesh. So a pony shouldn't be wanting to eat me, right? After some quick contemplation, the puzzle pieces fell into place and everything just clicked with me. Suddenly, I had found myself back in time. Back when I was still sitting in my room, drinking some coffee and eating an apple. This apple had been of good quality. Strong in texture, flavorful with taste, and a moisty juiciness that only a quality L-Star apple can provide. Aye, the juices must have left some traces on my fingers. I shouldn't panic. Flesh-eating ponies do not exist. This funny animal just had a good nose for quality apples. We were very alike in that way. Then I kept on walking again. until I eventually made my way back home. Here I made myself a tea with some honey and listened to some in-game Skyrim ambience. All in all, it was a rather eventful day. For the first time in many weeks, I felt happy to have woken up.